So, as you know, say, then the first of the 7 factors of realization, the first 2 are combined. They are sati, mindfulness, combined with investigation of the phenomenon of the Dhamma. Yes means phenomenon. That is one's own mind and body phenomenon. One is investigating that with sati and examining it, which then requires that you apply yourself, you put in energy and effort and sustain that effort. And this is the 3rd factor, which leads to stability or tranquility of the mind. And then concentration. To me, this concentration is it's confusing what is meant by concentration. I'm inclined to, and it's my own spin that maybe is that I don't see concentration as fixed concentration, as absorption in this context of Satipatthana, but more that it's intensification of the mindfulness combined with the examining investigation. Because concentration of itself will naturally arise, build up in intense practice, type of retreat. It will build up of itself. So one doesn't need to, surprisingly, doesn't need to pump up the concentration, induce the state, and then switch into Vipassana mode. One is impeccable in one's continuity of awareness, sustains it, and one is actually connected with, has experience of the 3 characteristics of change, dukkha, the dukkha yanas, and the processes of the mind, then one can have some insights that can break through the basic conditioning. These anusayas, these latent tendencies of the mind, can free the mind of this deconditioned the mind. That was the genius of the Buddha, was to show this practice. He had, as you might know, had got before his final enlightenment, was enlightenment, the Bodhi at Gaya. He had gone to 2 teachers to learn the high level of the jhanas. And when he had mastered, the teachers offered him that he then could take over, could teach. But he said no, it wasn't the way of itself. Concentration meditation is not the way. It's not the full way for Buddhists. I think that's quite clear. Combination that was in the early tradition, people, especially in the Buddhist time, when people were more able to achieve the mastery of the jhanas, not just have flashes of it. It's quite a rare thing, actually. I'm quite concerned that the teachers going around suggesting that lay people who may meditate just casually, occasionally, can achieve the jhanas. I spent about 3 years in Sri Lanka at Nittigaga with a teacher there, the Ullyanarama, and there was probably about, about 20 monks. Some of them been there long-term, Sri monks, and a few Western monks like themselves. And only 1 monk in the 30 years had actually mastered the jhanas. Other monks, you could just occasionally get flashes and sustain for a little while, but not master the jhanas, so you could then switch into Vipassana mode. It's not so easy, I've been to Singapore, and people said, I had a teacher and I could get the jhanas. Or how long do you meditate for? Half an hour. They see some lights and think, oh, that's great, I'm in the jhana, okay, that's good. If they want to believe that. But there's one thing about Buddhist practice, you've got to be honest with yourself. It's very difficult to be honest, isn't it? Not lie to people, even apply things. But if you're not honest with yourself, or somebody thinks that you attain some state when you haven't at all, then you've got a big problem because you have to, because you're very easy to get caught in delusion. So that's why you need a teacher when you're practicing Vipassana. You need a guide. You need somebody who's had travel experience, even if as much as they know it will be a bit further than you have. Because you're traveling, when you do Vipassana meditation, unknown territories of the mind, and you can easily get deluded. In fact, there's a stage in the practice when you practice well and you've become very fluent, and you get jhana-like effects. And this, we call that stage the corruptions of insights. And some people go off and think they're enlightened. They want to teach the Dhamma to everybody, but we had a case in Australia with Chame Sadhu Janika. This chap was a monk's retreat. Chap did very well, but he got to that stage. He had some jhana effects, Now, unfortunately, the course finished at that time, and now he's going off teaching, and he thinks he's a guru and all the rest of it. Unfortunately, he didn't go far enough, you see. So there are, if you're doing intensive practice, you need a Kalyana to guide and to practice. So these, then you may be able to get over the hindrances and move on to the maturity in the practice. The penultimate level, if you like, is this equanimity. But it's not an induced equanimity as you might get in the Brahmaviharas. You know those as well. I'm sure you know. Metta, Karuna, Mudita, and Upekkha, you see. That is a samatha practice. You could even get jhana, it's said in that too. But the equanimity, the upekkha that rises in that is induced. Whereas the equanimity in the Vipassana meditation is coming from experiencing the dukkha yapa, you've gone through that, and then the mind comes to an understanding and acceptance is how things are, rather than an induced state where you can just feel good. Because that's very important that you work with the feelings in Buddhist practice. Because we are beings on the sensory plane, yes? Essentially, we experience the world around us through seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, and touching. And in early Buddhism, the mind was considered just another sense, which it is, in a way, just a sense. So we are feeling here through our sense spheres or sense doors. And the majority of the practice, Satipatthana practice, is actually the six sense doors. So, liking, disliking, I mentioned as one of the worldly conditions, isn't it? And if you like something, of course, it means that there's pleasant feelings, and if you dislike something, there's unpleasant feelings. So liking, disliking. Now, in the Satipatthana Sutta, there we have, Vedana and Vipassana. So we're working with or monitoring the feeling tone that we're experiencing at any moment, whether it's body feelings. I mean, you can always check up, what feeling am I experiencing now? I mean, the body has many sensations and unpleasant feelings. It may be very low key, you're slightly off colour, as we say, or